Όμως απόψε, πριν περάσουμε σε εκείνα τα οποία υλοποιούν την εμβληματική προσπάθεια που αναλαμβάνουν οι Έλληνες δικηγόροι, θα ήθελα να ακούσουμε την γαλλική και την αυστριακή εμπειρία. Louis Bernard, cher ami, c'est ton tour. The floor is yours.
Kalispera. Honorable judges, Mr. President of the, Mrs. Member of Parliament, Mr. President of the Athens Bar, dear Dimitris Verbesos, dear colleagues, dear friends. Not every bar is fortunate to have as its leader a president who is willing to take risks, to innovate, to do things that predecessors have not done. It is always easier to follow in the path of the predecessors, but you are fortunate to have a president of the bar who is willing to invest of his time and efforts and also to lead the members of the bar into a novel path. And this is the new bar arbitration center that you are creating, launching today. So special thanks to him also for inviting me. In preparing for this moment, I was thinking of many things that I've read in my youth, the myths of ancient Greece, Homer, and all of a sudden came to me the fables of Aesopus, who are very famous in France because they have been translated into beautiful French verse by Jean de La Fontaine. So we know them, all French children actually know Aesopus' fables. And among those fables, there's one which is really my favorite, and you all know it, is the father and the sons. And here there is something that touches the subject of today, because as you know, the children of the farmer came to realize later, after he was dead, that the treasure he had bequeathed to them was actually in the land, in the soil, in the earth that they had to plow to produce wonderful harvests. And I wish President Verbesos a long life, but I'm sure that you have to be patient to see the rewards of what you are doing today, because it takes time to establish a functional arbitration center. Yes, arbitration is a field that has to be plowed for quite some time before you can harvest something. So do not expect immediate results. Be patient, and you will see how arbitration has the potential to transform your practice. Be patient, because from the day the new rules come into force until you see the first arbitration case in this arbitration center, they may be years. But from the day the arbitration rules come into force, you must start convincing your clients to put the arbitration clause in the contracts, so that if there is a dispute at any point, it will be referred to this arbitration center. And be active, do it constantly, and you will see success brings success. Once there is a case, there will be more cases, and when there are more cases, there will be more and more cases. It's exponential. It is transformative because it frees us from being the mere instruments of the state-administered justice, and it brings us, the lawyers, to the level of service providers to society by disposing of conflicts without the intervention of the state. In arbitration, it is an entirely different experience, both for parties in dispute and for lawyers. For parties in dispute, it is a contract with somebody, the arbitrator or the arbitral institution, who will take responsibility for what is being produced, that is the award, for the timing of its delivery, and for the costs associated with the delivery of the award. For the parties, it is also, and I would say mostly, the freedom and the comfort to be able to select the arbitrator, or to have it selected by the arbitration center along objective criteria. For the lawyers, it is the luxury, and I use the word on purpose, the luxury of defining the timetable of the arbitral procedure jointly with the arbitrator, and of getting the time they want to present their case at a hearing to the arbitral panel. Moreover, it is an educational experience which enables many lawyers to move from being counsels to parties in arbitration to becoming themselves arbitrators. What I have learned from my 35 years of activity in international arbitration is this. If you are able to become an arbitrator, you pass to the other side of the mirror, and you become a better lawyer because you understand what makes you, what works, what does not work when you are a counsel in front of an arbitral panel, or for that matter, in front of a court. Secondly, I learned that there are many arbitration centers around the world, and I've arbitrated in quite a few of them. Each with their own rules, but the fact is that you don't have to specialize in front of a particular arbitration center. You can move from one center to the other, from one city to another city. And about cities, it has never been a problem in Paris to have both the ICC, which is probably the oldest active arbitration center in the world. It was created in the 1920s. And having other arbitration centers that are also active in Paris. We have the Paris Bar, created 40 years ago, the French Arbitration Institution to cater for domestic arbitration. And 20 years ago, it was also a founder of the Center for Mediation and Arbitration of Paris, also active in domestic and international smaller cases. And recently, the Paris Bar has created a center specialized in professional disputes between professionals. So all of this, why am I telling you? Simply to make the point that if you have, for instance, in Athens, another institution, which is the Chamber of Commerce Arbitration Center, that's no problem, because competition is healthy, and each center will deal with its own, will serve its own clients, if I may so, its own centers of interest. So, in closing this speech, because of the short time I have, I would like to recall the memory of a French lawyer, Jean Robert, who was active after the Second World War. He was not an academic. He was a practicing attorney, an avocat, and he revitalized the French arbitration practice and made it the strong force it is today in my country. His treatise on arbitration contains a sentence which I like very much, and it says this, it's worth meditating. The arbitral award will be only as good as the arbitrator who wrote it. And this is very important because the role of arbitrator is essential for the quality of the product that the parties in arbitration want to receive, which is the award. And it would take more than 1 hour to elaborate on this. But suffice it to say that I'm really pleased to see on this podium a lady arbitrator. And I'm pleased because I have often tried to suggest the nomination of ladies as arbitrators, because I think they bring in an arbitral panel a quality which is a sense of balance, a sense of appeasement, which is very good for the functioning, for internal functioning of arbitral panels. So I really am pleased to pay homage to her and to all ladies in this room. And I finish now by wishing long life to the new Athens Bar Arbitration Center. Thank you.
Louis Bernard, I would like to thank you for the marvelous way you obeyed in the sign of 2 minutes. It was just one. Κυρίες και κύριοι, ακούσαμε από τον Louis Bernard Buchman μια εξαιρετική σύνθεση, περιληπτική παρουσίαση της γαλλικής εμπειρίας. Αν θα έπρεπε να κρατήσω, επειδή βλέπω τους πιο πολλούς και είναι μεγάλη χαρά, χωρίς ακουστικά, επαναλαμβάνω αυτό που είπε για να το κρατήσουμε. Απευθυνόμενος σε εσάς, στις κυρίες και στους κυρίους όλους, είπε be active. Πάρτε το στα χέρια σας. Αυτό ας κρατήσουμε από τα όσα μας είπε ο κύριος Buchman.